Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Myself is Manoj Kumar Singh, Faculty of Economy. Today we shall discuss how to answer questions of GS economy. One thing I want to tell you, this UPSC examination is quite different for university examination. Therefore, you have a very limited time. In GS paper, for answer a question, you shall not get more than 7 minutes. So, within 7 minutes, you have to answer. Hence, there is no need of any introduction. You direct attack on question. And even if you are giving the introduction, it should not be more than not more than one line. Today, I want to show you samples of question, how to answer. Like I have taken a question from deficit in India. The question is, do you think that food and fertilizer subsidies are main cause of revenue deficits as well as fiscal deficit in India? Suggest some measures to rationalize the food and fertilizer subsidies. You should have proper understanding of the question. The first part of the question is, do you think that the food and fertilizer subsidies are the main cause of revenue deficit as well as fiscal deficit in India? To answer such type of questions, I have given the format, how to answer it. Accordingly, you have to follow. Like a format or answer is, what is food subsidy? You must know it. What is fertilizer subsidies? What is a fiscal deficit? And what is a revenue deficit? You must have proper knowledge of this. Thereafter, if you know it, you can answer it. Okay? Like what is food subsidy? What is fertilizer subsidy? What is fiscal deficit? And what is revenue deficit? This concept must be very, very clear. Thereafter, food subsidy. After concept, the food subsidy, it is a difference between economic cost and central issue price. You must also know what is economic cost. This economic cost of the food grain equal to pool cost plus procurement incidental plus distribution cost. Okay. And you must also know what is this central issue price. Central issue price is price at which the food grain are delivered from the FCI godown to fair price shops. This is called central issue price. This difference is called food subsidy. Thereafter, we have to mention here National Food Subsidy Act. The allocation of food subsidy estimated, this one, you must have proper idea how Food Corporation of India decide the food subsidy. Thereafter, fertilizer subsidy. Fertilizer subsidy is provided by the for urea as well as for DAP fertilizer and muriate of potash. There are three types of fertilizers are used by the farmers. Urea is out of NBS scheme. In 2010, nutrients based subsidy schemes was introduced, and this calcium diammonium phosphate, DAP fertilizer and potassium fertilizers, this comes under nutrients based subsidy scheme. What is this? You must know it. Nutrients based under nutrients based subsidy schemes, per kilogram contents of NPK, as per kilogram contents of NPK, the subsidy is provided. 35% subsidy is provided for P and K, and for urea. For urea, subsidy is provided between difference between the production of the urea, production cost of the urea, and the price paid by the farmer. The central government provides 75% subsidy for urea, right? You must know it. And this food subsidy as well as fertilizer subsidy, both are paid by the central government. Thereafter, you must know what is the fiscal deficit and revenue deficit. You have to mention here what is the concept and how much is target. You see here in the budget 2022-23, the target of the fiscal deficit is 6.4% of GDP, and target of revenue deficit is 3.8% of GDP. Fiscal deficit is called total borrowing of the government, and revenue deficit is revenue expenditure more than the revenue receipts. This is called revenue deficit. And all together fiscal deficit and revenue deficit, all together food subsidy and fertilizer subsidy, this is 87.74%. This is the largest amount. This subsidy paid by the government, central government. Okay. Thereafter, we shall see the fertilizer subsidy, how much it is. This is implemented. So accordingly you have to answer. Accordingly you have to answer, which I have mentioned here, right? Then what is the way out? Since subsidy is a much more amount, and as you know, subsidy is a revenue expenditure, government has to borrow money, that is called market borrowing, to maintain the subsidies. Then this subsidy should be rationalized. Food subsidy, how to rationalize the food subsidy as well as the fertilizer subsidy. For food subsidy, identification of the beneficiaries. There must be revisit of the identification of the beneficiaries to whom the subsidy is provided. You have to detect the ghost beneficiaries. More rigorous implementation of the DBT, direct benefit transfer. Through DBT, the leakages of the subsidy can be checked, that can be reduced. Second, reconsideration of minimum basic income than subsidy. Since there is misuse of the subsidy, it is more better than to giving subsidy. Why not the beneficiaries should be given cash cash in hand, so that they go in market and purchase the goods and services. And state government has a major role. State government has major role to implement it. Since food subsidy is provided through PDS system, and PDS system, this comes under the state government. Therefore, the state government had a very major role to check the leakages. Now, about the fertilizer subsidy, encourage natural farming. You encourage natural farming so that there will be less and less use of the fertilizer, and you can check the leakages of the fertilizer subsidy. Tackling corruption and mismanagement. Fertilizer subsidy can be also reduced because there is huge amount of leakages of subsidy through black marketing, through a smuggling. If it is checked, definitely the subsidy should be reduced. So, this is my idea, that you must have, first of all, knowledge of the subject. You must have the very good understanding of the question. After that, you answer it. If you answer systematically, you are giving the right answer, you will get very good percentage of marks. Okay? I hope you have got it, and you follow to answer the question of UPSC accordingly. In next class, we shall come with a next question. Okay? Thank you very much.